In a move that sent shockwaves through the federal workforce, Elon Musk, leading the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency, issued a stark directive. Federal employees were required to provide a list of their accomplishments from the previous week. This list, detailing 5 specific achievements, was to be submitted to their respective managers by Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. The demand, delivered via email late on a Saturday evening, left many employees scrambling to understand its implications. The email itself, while firm in its request, lacked the signature of any specific official. It originated from a new HR email address for the Office of Personnel Management. The message instructed employees to avoid including any sensitive or classified information. Links and attachments were also explicitly forbidden. While the email outlined the demand for a list of accomplishments, it did not explicitly state that non-compliance would result in termination. However, a social media post by Musk himself painted a different picture. On X, formerly Twitter, Musk implied that failure to respond to the email by the deadline would be considered a resignation. This discrepancy between the official email and Musk's public statement only added to the confusion and anxiety among federal workers. The late Saturday timing of the email further compounded the situation. Many employees were left with little time to process the request, consult with colleagues, or seek clarification from their superiors. The weekend delivery, unusual for official government communication, struck many as insensitive and disrespectful of their personal time. The response to Musk's directive was swift and multifaceted. Federal agencies, caught off guard by the unexpected demand, offered varying guidance to their employees. Some agencies, seemingly aligning themselves with the directive, encouraged their staff to comply with the request. Others, however, adopted a more cautious approach, advising their employees to await further instructions. The FBI and the State Department, 2 of the largest federal employers, instructed their staff not to respond immediately. Both agencies promised internal reviews of the situation and pledged to provide departmental responses in due course. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency confirmed the validity of the email, acknowledging that it did indeed originate from OPM. However, a division within the Department of Defense advised its personnel to hold off on any action until internal guidance was issued. Union leaders representing federal workers reacted with strong condemnation and the promise of legal action. Everett Kelly, president of the American Federation of Government Employees, the largest federal employee union, denounced the ultimatum as unreasonable and potentially unlawful. He vowed to challenge any terminations that resulted from non-compliance with the directive, especially if they were deemed to be in violation of existing labor laws or agreements. Doreen Greenwald, president of the National Treasury Employees Union, echoed Kelly's sentiments. She labeled the email completely un-American, criticizing its tone and implications. Greenwald argued that the demand demonstrated a lack of respect for the work and dedication of federal employees. A chapter of the NTEU representing employees at the Food and Drug Administration went a step further. They advised their members to refrain from responding to the email altogether, citing concerns about potential privacy violations and the ambiguous nature of the request. As federal agencies and employee unions grappled with the implications of Musk's directive, legal experts began to weigh in on its legality and enforceability. The crux of the matter, many argued, lay in the authority under which such a demand could be made and the reasonableness of its implementation. Michael Fallings, a prominent federal employment law expert, questioned the legal standing of Musk's directive. He pointed out that there were established procedures for evaluating employee performance, and that a sudden demand for a list of accomplishments, especially one delivered with such short notice, could be construed as arbitrary and capricious. Fallings also raised concerns about the weekend deadline, arguing that it placed an undue burden on employees and could be seen as an attempt to coerce them into compliance. Labor attorney Suzanne Summerlin echoed Fallings' concerns, suggesting that any attempt to fire employees for non-compliance with the email directive would likely face legal challenges. She argued that a labor arbitrator tasked with reviewing such terminations would likely find the punishment disproportionate to the perceived offense. Summerlin emphasized that the email itself did not explicitly threaten termination and that Musk's social media post, while alarming, did not carry the weight of official government communication. The legal debate surrounding Musk's directive highlighted the complexities of federal employment law and the delicate balance between an employer's right to manage its workforce and the rights of employees to fair treatment and due process. The lack of clear precedent for such a demand further muddied the waters, leaving many legal experts to speculate on how the situation might play out in court. Elon Musk's demand for a list of accomplishments from federal employees sparked a nationwide debate. Was this a bold move to boost efficiency or a gross overreach of authority? The mixed reactions from agencies, unions, legal experts, and employees themselves illustrate the complexity of this issue. Supporters of the directive, including an OPM spokesperson, argued that it was a necessary step to create a more efficient and accountable federal workforce. They maintained that requiring employees to articulate their accomplishments would foster a culture of productivity and results-oriented governance. By setting clear expectations and demanding tangible evidence of progress, the administration aimed to streamline operations and maximize taxpayer dollars. However, critics viewed the directive as a thinly veiled attempt to intimidate and demoralize federal employees. They argued that the demand for a list of accomplishments, especially one delivered with such short notice and under the shadow of potential termination, created a climate of fear and distrust. They pointed to the Trump administration's ongoing efforts to reduce the size of the federal workforce as evidence of a broader agenda to undermine the civil service. The anxiety and confusion experienced by federal employees were palpable. Many felt pressured to comply with the directive, fearing for their jobs in an already uncertain environment. Some spent their weekend frantically compiling lists of their accomplishments, sacrificing personal time to meet the arbitrary deadline. Others, however, felt insulted and demoralized by the demand, viewing it as a sign of disrespect for their professionalism and dedication to public service. The long-term impact of Musk's directive on the federal workforce remains to be seen. Will it lead to greater efficiency and accountability as its proponents claim? Or will it further erode morale and drive talented individuals away from public service? Only time will tell. What is certain, however, is that the debate over the role and size of the federal government and the treatment of its employees is far from over.